come out? It came out in... So it came out in 2004. Halloween of 2004. So 2004, I had... Yeah, so I had just gotten back in 2004, in October 2004, I had just gotten back from my second tour of overseas duty. So I had not seen any workups for it. I had not seen any trailers or nothing. And then when it came out on DVD, my roommate got it. He's like, "Hey, do you want to watch Saw?" I'm like, "Well, I don't know what it is, but we'll watch it." So we're sitting in our barracks room in the dark watching this movie, and I'm just sitting there in awe of it. I'm like, "Wow, this is fantastic." And then yeah, when he got up at the end of the movie, I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? That dude was alive the whole fucking time."
And then not only alive, but the mastermind behind every
Mastermind
bit of
behind all of it. And that's the thing is when it comes to horror movies, when it comes to what I like to watch on Halloween, it was kind of like I remember growing up when Blair Witch was coming out, and I think Blair Witch came out around Halloween, and I remember like Sci-Fi Network on like Halloween would run like the Blair Witch documentaries.
Yeah, I remember recording all those because they advertised it like it was a real thing, like this had really happened. The advertising, the initial advertising campaign put it out like this really happened, and we found this footage, and this is what these people caught. And they made it seem so real because they had interviews with people, with the sheriffs and people who live in the town, and they made it seem like it was a real documentary, which I had thought at the time was illegal to do. I didn't think they were even allowed to do something like that, and they did it anyway, and it was it really hyped the movie and made people get in the theater to see it.
So
and
it
especially I was there like the opening weekend when it came out.
So it came out in July actually of '99, but I can swear I remember like Halloween time frame, maybe the year before they were running like.
I think it was around they were running the campaign for quite a while. They were dropping little hints about it, and I seem to remember advertising for it around fall sometime.
Yeah, I mean it was just. Here we go. The backstory was broadcast on Sci-Fi Network in 1999 prior to the release of the Blair Witch Project. So maybe it was before that. Maybe it was after Halloween, but before the movie came out. But I remember that's the type of thing you would watch. You would like to watch those things and be like, "Oh my God, this is real." And it's like when you watch these horror films. I mean, and it doesn't have to be a slasher movie. It doesn't have to be something supernatural. It could be a movie that just makes you feel creepy. It can make you just like after you watch it, you're like, I need to take a shower.
Blair Witch is a movie to me that when I saw it it took me probably 3 times watching it to really appreciate how good it is. And because the first time I went with my wife to see it in the theater when it was first released, we went like the opening week to see the Blair Witch Project, and I remember the movie ran. And I remember at the end of it, me and my wife both just sat there like in the theater, just staring at the screen like, what the hell did we just watch? What was that? That was the craziest fucking movie. No credits, no music, no nothing, just straight found footage, creepy shit. And I remember just stunned, just watching, and like the light, like the one that the screen went black and the lights came up. There were no credits, no end credits. Nothing, and I just remember I sat there for like 5 minutes wondering what the hell, what the hell was that? I want to watch it again right now. I want to see that again right now.
All it needed was Robert Kerman at the end going, "I wonder who the real Blair Witches are." But see,
I liked it, but after I saw it again a few times, I started realizing this movie. And the campaign behind it was really pretty brilliant.
It was brilliant. What sucked, though, was after that, because I remember after that, so when I was at that age, I was in high school at that point, making Chief feel old again. I would work at, like, the Halloween, like, haunted trails. You know, a lot of us in the drama club, where, you know, when I was growing up, we would work these haunted trails. And it was like everything was Blair Witch. It was the Blair Witch sticks and all this other stuff,
little stick figure guys.
Yeah, and I'm sitting there at the end of like this. I'm like this guillotine guy, and I'm like, I'm scaring the shit out of teenagers. But what I really hated was when parents would bring like their little kids through the haunted trail, because I felt bad. I didn't want to scare the little kids. You know, I'll scare the shit out of the teenagers and their fucking shit. But the little kids were just, I was like, I can't scare these people. So I would start to talk. I would do like Beetlejuice with them, like, hey, come on, we're all good here. We're good. Come on. come on, hey, come on, it's all good, But everything was Blair Witch, and that's what sucked around the '90s is horror movies in the '90s got so redundant. They got so, I mean, even to this day, they follow like the same formula. So before my kids were born, I really wanted to go see the movie The Strangers.
Well, the franchises were still up and running back when I was in high school, early '90s. When I was in high school, like 90, 91, like they were still putting out Nightmare on Elm Streets and Friday the 13th at the time, and it was like all the big horror franchises were all still rolling. The '90s, kind of later on in the '90s when they started trying out some of these original different.
Scream,
ideas.
I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah, they started trying to bring it back a little bit.
Like remaking My Bloody Valentine and stuff like that. But like I was saying, I really wanted to go see the movie The Strangers. Because, I mean, this is like a home invasion movie. I was like, this might actually be scary. It would be really good. And I'm watching it, and my wife and I went and we saw it. And when we were in the theater, there was a lot of like college and teenage kids in the theater. And we're watching it. And I'm laughing my goddamn ass off, man. I'm like, and I know you enjoyed it because Liv Tyler got the living shit cut out of her.
Well, I mean, I kind of like the movie just based on the realism of it to me. It can and has happened before to people.
But like, she's running outside, and I'm like, and I even said to my wife, I was like, watch, she's gonna fall and twist her ankle. Sure enough, she falls and twists her ankle.
That's the cliche.
And then I'm like, watch, she can run. If she ran, she could make it to the main road. She could make it to the main road and get the fuck out of there. But watch, she's gonna run back in the house and try to hide in the house. And sure enough, she runs back in the house to hide in the house. I'm sitting there going, if I got home invaders after me and I'm outside, I am going to book it. I am going to bolt as far away from that house as possible. I'm not going to go back in the house. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, dude. It's self-preservation. I am going to get my ass out of there and I'll bring the cops back with me. But that was just like, that was weird to me. Scream, I never liked the Scream movies. I felt they were predictable and stupid.
Oh, I hated Scream. I hated the whole franchise. I hated it from one on.
I hated that. I Know What You Did Last Summer. Like I said, I think last week the only reason I really liked that was Jennifer Love Hewitt. She's gorgeous. Have at it. But all these like stupid horror movies it was the same cliche. It was like teenagers, which I'm sorry, yeah. Most horror films are teenagers, but these movies, it was none of the good stuff you get with the teenagers. I don't want to feel anything for these teenagers. I want the slasher to kill them because they're stupid.
Well, I think what sets a movie like Blair Witch apart from a movie like that is like, yeah, in The Strangers you could say, why didn't this idiot just open the front door and bolt for the road and keep running as hard as she can until she runs into somebody else and says, hey, these motherfuckers are trying to kill me.
Blair Witch, they're lost.
Yeah, exactly. Blair Witch covered their ass because not only were they lost, but the woods were physically changing around them and turning them in the wrong direction.
Very psychological.
They couldn't run hard enough or fast enough or far enough to get away from it.
Then you get that sequel, Blair Witch 2: The Book of Shadows.
Oh, it's terrible. I just saw part of that recently on cable. Oh, God, it's so fucking bad.
It's bad, but there's still something pretty interesting that what you see wasn't reality. There was still some. It's a bad movie.
Well, there were some things in it that could have been creepy. They could have done more with it. And what they really should have done was Blair Witch, like the one they just made. That's what they really should have done.
Well, but like ones I really enjoy. House on Haunted Hill, the remake. I love the remake of House on Haunted Hill.
Yeah, I just found that and what was the other one that they did right around that same time?
13 Ghosts.
Well, there's that one, and then there's House on Haunted Hill, and then there was another one with, which is the one with Jeffrey Rush where he invites all the people.
House on Haunted Hill. And
then what's the one with Liam Neeson and the other?
Oh, The Haunting.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah, The Haunting. The one with Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Yeah, those to me seemed like too big Hollywood to me. They weren't gritty enough. They were big Hollywood movies, and honestly, really, if you look at the CGI of them now, they don't hold up.
They don't,
well.
But somehow I really still enjoy House on Haunted Hill. I don't know, maybe
but the old one with like Roddy McDowall, that was like
Vincent
Hell
Price.
House.
Price.
Yeah, Vincent Price is in House on Haunted Hill, but there was another one like Hell House or something with Roddy McDowall, and like all the effects were all practical effects back then, so they worked a lot better. They seemed more real. And they're just better movies, I
Yeah.
think.
I mean, 13 Ghosts wasn't bad. I enjoyed 13 Ghosts.
Yeah, the original 13 Ghosts has got that one really creepy old lady in it. You know,
Yeah.
the old lady. Oh man, that
Yeah.
part still gets me when they show that. It's like, oh my god,
But the remake with
terrifying.
Matthew Lillard was not bad. I enjoyed
Well,
that
it's
one.
like it's different. That's another one that's like a big Hollywood thing, but it's like it's kind of original, and it's
In
a little.
its own way, yeah.
I mean, they kind of they're kind of those movies, kind of like for me, like Jaws is in the sense, not it's the quality of Jaws, but it's one of those kind of movies you can put on any time and do other things and not really miss any of it.
Noise. It's
Just put
background
it on
noise.
in the background kind of movie.
Yeah. It's like Nostalgia Critic just did a review of one. You know, we're getting older, so the younger generation, they're finding their movies that they love around Halloween time, and he reviewed Scary Godmother.
That's such an awful cartoon.
And like,
I hate it. I know other people like it, but like,
I don't know.
It.
It's one of those things. It's like, why do kids are like, oh, I absolutely love this movie. It's my childhood. I'm like, maybe I'm just too old, but my childhood, I still like, the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, or Garfield Halloween. Although it's not as good as Garfield Christmas. Garfield Christmas is the best.
Those I think take you back to when you were a little kid, and that's one of the things that I like those too, because there's, aside from horror and gore and all the stuff, like, I like just the atmosphere of Halloween, just the spooky atmosphere of Halloween. Just even corny, like, old skeletons and ghosts and haunted house type stuff, and I don't know, just the whole season. I just love everything about it. And those old cartoons kind of play on those old traditional things we used to do for Halloween when we were kids too. So I think that takes you back to a certain time.
It takes you back. I mean, it's just kind of like Scary Godmother, and then I think they made like 2 or 3 other sequels to that, and I'm watching it.
They're just awful. The animation's awful, and the story's so milquetoast and babyfied, and there's no danger to it, and it's so stupid.
I'm watching. I'm like, really like, if you want a good scary cartoon, maybe not scary, but one that's really good, go watch the old Beetlejuice cartoon.
Yeah, remember the Halloween tree, the one we were talking about before.
Yeah, that one is good. I enjoy that one.
That one's creepy. I think that one like personifies the atmosphere of Halloween better than any of them.
Or like the real Ghostbusters Halloween specials. Every time they did one with Sam Haim, it was always with Sam Haim, and he had like the pumpkin head, and he was like this big monster.
Yeah.
Those ones were always good. I mean, growing up, I think that's the thing. Growing up, when we were growing up, 70s, 80s, early 90s for me, they didn't babyfy these type of cartoons for us. I mean, come on, we had G.I. Joe, America,
Yeah,
America.
Now everything is just so safety oriented. I hate it. It's like everybody's wrapped in bubble wrap. It's like, come on, let these kids live a little.
Yeah, I mean,
do the shit that I did.
I mean, it's like my mom. Now, my mom, I've said it before. My mom was a young mom. My parents were young. But I remember as a young kid, they taped. Now, of course, they taped it off of TV, so some stuff were cut out. But Aliens, they had taped Aliens off like Fox, and I was watching it, and I was just in awe of this movie. And I wasn't scared of aliens. I was in awe. I was like, God, this movie is fucking amazing. To the point that we got in trouble on the playground because we would be playing Aliens on the playground and cursing up a fucking storm. But movies like that, or even like the original Aliens, which is a straight up horror film. The original Aliens is basically the slasher in space. It's what Jason in space should have been.
Yeah, well, I like when the franchises move on. I mean, they tend to convert more into an action series than like the first ones are always straight up horror, and then the sequel is always more of an action horror type thing.
Or they go flying way off the deep end that Freddy Krueger's actually like the product of these dream demons, and he has to kill enough, to satisfy the dream demons, and or the Cult of the Thorn, or they always pull some shit to take away from the fact they're just psychotic fucking murderers. They have to put these like weird supernatural spins on it, and then Corey Feldman ends up killing them or something like that.
Well, the first Halloween is a movie that I think exemplifies Halloween in that era of the era I grew up in, and just that. Well, it's set in Haddonfield, Illinois, even though there's palm trees in certain scenes and mountains. There's no mountains in Illinois. I live here. There's no mountains. I mean, they did actually a pretty good job representing Illinois when you didn't catch the off mountain in the background or whatever like that.
We all know
But
that Donald Pleasance was just running around in Illinois nonstop looking for Michael.
well,